What up, guys? Hope everything is going well. Once again, if you like my video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. And one of the things about my videos, I like it when you guys comment because sometimes it helps me create a video. And I have one of my subscribers, he left an interesting comment the other day, and I'll summarize it. He was saying that, hey man, I like your videos. I appreciate that, by the way. And going back to what he's saying, he's saying that, my gambling video, in that video, I was basically critiquing people. I wasn't, trying to hate on anyone, trying to disparage anyone. I'm just analyzing from how I would act versus how they're acting. And I was saying that there's guys in their 20s, they're aggressively flipping. It doesn't make me comfortable. This looks like gambling. That doesn't mean that they can't make money, but the more people do that, the more people will lose. And when I put money in sports cards, my risk tolerance is very different than some of these aggressive flippers. And I have flipped before. I'll tell you a story. So in 2019, I bought this card from this dude who lives in the same town as me, about maybe 5-10 minutes away. It was a Mickey Mantle 1969. It was in yellow. There's also in white. The white version is much more than the one in yellow. And I bought PSA 7 for $450. Now that card right now has gone to what, $3,500, $4,000, something like that. Anyways, I bought the card in cash. It was $450 at the time in cash, $500 if I were to buy on eBay. And what I ended up doing was I took this card and I sent it to PWCC, maybe I think within a few months, maybe in the summertime. And I just wanted to, use the money elsewhere. PWCC, they determined it was in the top 10% of the cards, and or top 15% based on iAppeal. So it sold for $900. I basically, got a 60-70% return within a relatively short time. Use that money to buy a Drew Brees 229 Chrome Refractor PSA 9. So I have done some flipping. It has worked out. I wasn't, really aggressive because I'm usually really aggressive in the stock market with options. And, that's what I like doing because it's a liquid market and, there's a lot more liquidity in that. So I feel more comfortable in that. So my risk tolerance in the stock market and options market is very aggressive because there's just so many stocks and options out there where I could look at intermarket relationships, and I am more confident in making aggressive bets in the stock market, and also that I've learned from my mistakes, versus the card market, where in the card market, why I don't have a high risk tolerance is number one, or especially right now, is that the market has gone up over hundreds and hundreds of percent in many cards that are scarce and that are high in demand. I have some cards that have gone up over 2,000% within a year. One card, has gone up maybe 1,000%. So these returns are really great. And you don't see this in the stock market, which I look at, on a daily basis. So I would say that in terms of the stock market, I'm very aggressive, and in the options market, and versus the card market, I'm semi-aggressive. I'd say that I'm more passive-aggressive. It resembles my personality. My wife says that I'm passive-aggressive. And everyone has their own personality, and everyone has their own way of investing or flipping, right? And like I said, I don't feel comfortable with these graded cards flipping in this market because, we've seen crazy moves. The PSA Jordan went from 50,000 to 750,000. I believe that was on Golden Auctions. And then the other day, the Jordan card went down $300,000 to $450,000. So, you see a lot of volatility for an item that's traded maybe once every few weeks, once every 3 weeks. Well, when I'm in the stock market, in options, there's hundreds of options, in these S&P 500 ETFs, or whether it's the CBOE options. There's plenty of options to deal with. There's more liquidity in it, so I feel more confident in there. Versus, some of these Grail cards, you don't know what they're going to be priced at in, on eBay, on Golden. It could be a weak auction. And sure, people with extensive markets can maneuver, can find grails, and do well for themselves. Once again, I'm not hating on them. It's just a strategy that I do not like at this moment, because once again, card prices have gone up 20-fold. Now, aggressive flipping, I don't think that's a bad idea if prices completely collapse. Prices completely collapsed in March of last year. So at that point, I wish I had put more money in the market for flipping perspective, for investing perspective, etc. We bought some Jordans, 1990 PSA 10s. We bought 10 of those from 4 Sharp Corners, about $30 a card. And we sold it at $50, a card. I thought, like, man, we did well. Like, no, we didn't. Now it's one card I saw in an auction is selling at $620. So we could have waited, That's the other thing about flipping is, you could flip a card, but then you realize, hey, man, I could have made more money if I just held it on for another year. And the other thing, though, is, you got to assess your risk tolerance and how much risk are you going to be able to take in this market, where the market is on fire right now. And sure, you could still make money, but there are a lot of warning signs that I've noticed that I remember as a college kid. And I talked about this in the last video, where, houses continuously went up, time in and time out, and flippers were doing really well. And I see the same type of mentality. And does that mean that these guys are going to go bankrupt? No. It just means that, Warren Buffett's quote, be greedy when no one is greedy, and be fearful when everyone else is greedy. So that's what I'm looking at. And that doesn't mean that the market's at the top. It's just making me more hesitant in making aggressive bets. The other thing I do remember during the housing crisis, we had a family friend at the time, or they weren't really family friends, but they were very big in the hotel business. The father was a physician, so they had a lot of money, so they reinvested in the hotels. They were doing well for quite some time. And then, when the market started to tank, they took all their savings, from my memory, and they reinvested in the hotel business because they thought they got a bargain. Well, this was in 2007, when hotels were, going down, starting to go down. And, the crash basically wiped them out. If they had saved their money and actually bought in 2009, 2010, 2011, they wouldn't have gone bankrupt. But, it was a rich family, and they lost everything. And, they ended up getting a divorce. And, her daughter was, cuckoo in the head as well. So putting that aside, that's what I remember. And that's why I don't want to be taking aggressive bets. That's why I'm trying to sell my commons right now, trying to keep my grails, or supposed grails, and go from there and be ready for the next bear market, which is probably going to come in the next few years. And I want to be aggressively buying with both hands. You know, when all the YouTube community guys freak out, that's when I'm going to be buying. You know, a lot of people are excited. A lot of people, you know, are creating new channels. I even created a new channel. I created a new channel on YouTube because of the crazy political system that we have right now. And it's an escape. That's why I do these videos. It's not because like, oh, here's a get rich scheme. No, it's not at all. I need to get away from the political environment. And one other point I wanted to address is when I do make investments or when I do speculate, they're more calculated bets. So I put maybe like a few $100s in Katie Ledecky. I don't consider that gambling because I have other cards where I've spent $1,800 and they've doubled. I spent $100 and, you know, the card has gone up significantly, like 20-fold. So the amount that I've invested, the amount has gone up significantly, where even if there's a correction in these prices, I'm not going to lose my shirt. I'm not going to lose my shirt, or I'm not going to have problems sleeping at night if I lose all my money in Katie Ledecky. So whatever I invest in, I'm fairly confident that, you know, if I lose money, nothing bad's going to happen to my portfolio. I won't go bankrupt. I won't lose my house. Now, with some of these guys, you know, putting hundreds of $1,000s in 4 cards for an aggressive trade, you know, sometimes you don't know if some of these guys are leveraged like crazy. They borrowed so much money. You know, they could wind up in huge financial trouble if the card price goes against them. You know, LeBron just got hurt. You know, Kevin Durant's hurt. You know, what if they had a year-ending injury? What would happen to their price? You know, they wouldn't be in the playoffs, these players. And, you know, the offseason, you know, results in prices going down. So that's why, that's just, you know, my thoughts. Where, you know, $300 in a Ledecky card or a few $100s in Jordan Love cards is not going to destroy my portfolio, especially when some of the cards, like I said, have gone from $1,000 to now what, an evaluation perspective, you know, the Mayweather card is what, maybe 15 to 20 grand, a BGS 9.5. Once again, I don't know the exact price because there's not that much trading in that card. But, you know, PSA 10 goes for what, 36 grand now. So, you know, I'm comfortable whenever I invest. I'm comfortable in what I'm investing in. And I don't care if I lose the money because it's not substantial to take a huge hit. So, you know, my risk tolerance is, you know, if I lose money, I lose money because I'm not taking very aggressive bets right now. Nor do I want to at this moment. Maybe in a few years when everything crashes. So I wanted to clarify that point. And once again, I'm not hating on any individual. And, you know, if I really wanted to aggressively, you know, trade with other people, you know, I would definitely make that effort. I would try to find people on OfferUp. I would try to find people on Nextdoor, that app, and whatnot. And, you know, it's just the way that I invest. I know some people here are very aggressive flippers, and once again, I wish you the best of luck. I want you guys to do well, but I have a lot of reservations against that. So I just wanted to clear these topics up. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And once again, comment if you disagree with anything that I said. And, you know, I'm open to, you know, commenting on these or eventually, you know, doing some videos. It helps me create content. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.